Thank you very much. First, I want to welcome all of you here to the 10th meeting of the Clinton Global Initiative. I want to thank the heads of government and state who are here, and I want to briefly acknowledge them. President Michelle Bachelet, who will be on the program with me in a few moments, President Danilo Medina of the Dominican Republic, President Grimson of Iceland, who was with us last night, President Ayaza, who was honored last night at the Global Citizen Awards we had, Prince Albert and Princess Charlene of Monaco, and the President of Mongolia, one of the places that is famously on my bucket list that I've never been. And he has repeatedly promised me, they have been so faithful in waiting for my long delayed arrival, that I have a good horse waiting for me to ride across the desert. So, President Elbey, thank you for being here, sir. I want to thank the people who were with us in 2005 at the first Global Initiative. Raise your hand if any of you were here then. Good for you. So we began this meeting with this commitment model, and we weren't all that well organized, and most people were just writing down on a piece of paper, this is my commitment. We didn't have the kinds of announcements that we obviously do now every year at the meeting. I didn't really know what to expect. First, I asked people to come to New York when the UN was meeting and the world leaders were coming, which guarantees that you could join the world's worst traffic jam. And then I asked people to come to a meeting where you had to make a commitment to do something and do your best to keep it, to keep coming. And sure enough, there was this huge feeling that so many of us had, that we'd been going to meetings for years and then talking about things and trying to figure out what to do, but we sort of were on our own. Well, now on our 10th meeting, we've had 2,900 of those commitments made. They've helped 430 million people in more than 180 countries. And the 43 million children plus have access to better education. More than 27 million people have better access to clean water and sanitation. 11 million girls and women have been supported through empowerment initiatives, from education to access to capital. 2.7 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide have been cut or prevented from entering the atmosphere. So we thought this would be a good time to take stock of all these commitments, because while it's important to keep score, it's important to understand what that score means. So one of our partners, Palantir, agreed to analyze the commitments. They analyze, and Chelsea will talk more about this later, but they analyzed the ones we finished, the ones that certainly will be finished, the ones where people stopped reporting, and the very small number that I think are very important where we failed to succeed with the commitments, even though people tried. You'll hear more about that later. Here's the most important statistic to me as we look toward the future. In 2005, the first-year commitments were made. 65% of them involved partnerships. That is, more than one person, more than one NGO, more than one NGO working with the government or working with the corporations. Today, more than 90% of the commitments involve partnership. And you will also see when you hear more about the report that all the partnerships in which include at least one NGO and at least one corporation are the most likely to succeed and have the highest rate of beating their stated goal when they began. So I want all of you to know, first, I'm grateful for any commitment that's been made, and some of the commitments that people did on their own because they were organized and ready to go have worked very well. But the partnerships, I think, are very important because they offer a compelling antidote to the forces of destruction that require us to be divided from one another in order for them to thrive in ways that are relatively innocent and predictable, like in the politics of a given nation, and in ways that can be lethal and global, like in whether we destroy animal species or continue to accelerate the pace of global warming, or just say that we can't succeed unless a lot of other people are killed. So I think these networks of cooperation, Hillary's making fun of me about it last night. I sound like a broken record, but I've learned over time that sometimes the record has to just keep repeating itself. The truth is, the only thing that's really producing very good results, if you define success by shared prosperity, shared opportunities, and the shared assumption of responsibilities for doing what needs to be done in the world, for people being able to preserve their identity, be part of a larger community, the only things that seem to be working on a consistent basis are networks of diverse people working toward a common goal. So thank you.